Welcome to What in the World, a project initiated by Hungry for Life International. Today's podcast is titled Fundraising During COVID, and Jess will be interviewing Givergy. So grab your headphones, sit back, relax, and listen as they talk with the fundraising experts and tech whizzes, Givergy.
Okay. Hi, and welcome back to another week of our podcast, What in the World, with Hungry for Life. So this week's topic is a bit different. It's geared towards our fellow nonprofit organizations who are also struggling to know what direction to take with their fundraisers this year. So COVID has put everyone to the test as far as being innovative and adaptable. And so here today to help walk us through some great solutions is Jack Wrigglesworth from Givergy. So, hi, Jack.
Hello.
We're doing this on
Thanks
Zoom.
for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining. We're doing this on Zoom, so it might be a little bit delayed. So I'm going to give you there might be some awkward timing situations here, but
Some awkward silences. I'm used to that.
aren't we all at this point? So Givergy is a company that Hungry for Life has been using for the past 3 years, going on 4 now. And I'm going to let Jack tell us a bit about what Givergy is. So Jack, can you tell us a bit about Givergy? What do they do? How many years have you guys been in business, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. And first and foremost, thanks for inviting me on. We've obviously worked together now for a few years, and when you asked us to come on, it was our pleasure. So yeah, thank you for that. And in terms of Givergy, like we're actually in our 11th year.
Nice.
And we originated, as you may guess, from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And then around 7 years ago, we decided to, spread our wings, so to speak, and come into North America. And sitting here today, we've come into North America, and we're a global company. So Givergy has our head offices in the UK. We're in Australia, Hong Kong, all across the States. And then with specific reference to Canada, we're in three major regions, so Vancouver, Calgary, and Toronto. Which, so it's been an exciting journey. I've been with Givergy personally for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do you guys do?
It's an exciting time. Yeah. So basically Givergy is how I describe it, we're a fundraising technology company.
Mm-hmm.
We provide a platform to charities or non-for-profits and even profitable businesses that are raising money, whether it be online, and I'm sure we'll come to that shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's virtual during the past year or whether it's a live event, and within that platform, typically it's a silent auction or, a donation platform, but with features including like ticketing to an event or a prize draw. Essentially a fundraising platform, a fundraising technology platform, mm-hmm. to support charities in a bid to raise more money. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I want to tell our audience a bit about our experience with using this tech platform. So the first year, I'll be honest,
mm-hmm.
I was probably your worst client because I asked far too many questions and was quite annoying, I'm sure of it. But it was really hard to just bite the bullet and book you guys just because there's obviously a cost associated. But we know the way the world is going, and we knew things had to change, and we wanted to be progressive and not fall too far behind. So at that point, I was willing to just do it and prepare to accept failure if that came. And so we just went with it. And also our guest demographic is older. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Were? Okay, I got to be careful of that. So anyways, I was just nervous how it would be received. I was nervous that it would take up all of our staffing capacity and it would just be a staffing mess on the night of. But since using Givergy, every year we have reached our goal and beat it, and we didn't fail. And your staff was so great. Like as far as staffing, you sent a couple staff out to our events when we were allowed to have them in person, and you took care of all the staff, all of the guests' questions, and troubleshot half the evening. And it was really a really positive experience, and that's why we've kept using you. And then last year when COVID hit, that was like, I was so thankful that we had used you guys the 2 years prior, because our guests were just used to online bidding at that point. They could sit on their couch, they knew the system, they knew how it worked. And then we also used your virtual platform, which is so slick, and you guys had staff on call for us during then too. And we're doing it again this year. And I've debated whether or not we're going to do that, but yes, we're doing a virtual event again this year. Don't get me started. But yeah, you guys made it really easy. That's not the intention of this podcast, but I did want to put that plug in for you guys because you were awesome. We wanted to pick your brain about what you guys have discovered working with nonprofits, helping them through their fundraisers during COVID. And I just feel like COVID has actually put fundraisers in general on a different trajectory now, because it's hard to even go, like, I'm pretty certain we're going to be able to meet in person this year, but we're choosing not to because of this. So kind of wanted to focus discussion around that a little bit. What have you found to be the biggest struggle that nonprofits are facing these days with regards to putting on fundraisers?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, when we talk about nowadays, we're unfortunately it is all online, and there has been some struggles. We have had, and there are many events and charities out there that are very comfortable and happy with the old school pen and paper. But when the pandemic hit, they probably sat in their committee rooms and their offices and were like, okay, what are we going to do? And you're right when you mentioned earlier, 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of nervousness for you moving to technology. There's this, I don't know what it is, but whenever you move to a different piece of technology, whether it be a smartphone or a laptop or setting something up, there's nervousness that you might do something wrong. And look, we've definitely seen that. We've had a lot of partners come on board in the past year that have never used technology, let alone Givergy. And there was a lot of nervousness around that. And it's our role, whoever you speak to within the company globally, to try and hold your hand and to try and ease those fears as soon as possible. And then when we get into, I guess, the nitty-gritty side of things, there's been a lot of chat and fear among many partners about over-asking over the past year. Fear of over-asking your donors for support.
Okay. You want to explain that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's been a lot of worry from people that we work with, again, globally, that they're worried that they're going to find themselves in a position that they're asking donors for too much support, pretty much in a nutshell. So there's been a lot of fear around that. And also, as I said, the online is an unknown territory for many.
Yep.
And there's a lot of new strategies that come into play when you put your event online, and I can speak to that now or a little bit later, but there's some key strategies that we walk through with our partners to make them feel more comfortable, and actually, most importantly, make it a success.
Yeah. And we'll get to key strategies, I think, a little bit down the way. So I want to ask a couple questions together here. So what have you found is like the general feel around fundraisers? And is there, since COVID hit, I know you guys have had to do a ton of adapting as well. Do you feel like there's a bit of like a climate change as to how our donors are responding? Have you guys had to alter your platforms, or what are our donors doing these days? Like I know what our donors are doing, but I don't know what other people's donors are doing. Do you sense that there's a bit of a climate change because of COVID?
Do you know what? There has been, and it's
Okay.
probably going to be a change that shocks a lot of people listening to this. If anybody listens to it, I don't.
Yeah. Who knows?
um, but there's been a brilliant change,
Okay.
and for us and for me as well. Like, it's been really nice to see, especially take us back 14 months when there was a lot of panic. Huge amount of panic, even for us. What's going to happen? What are we going to do? What is the reaction of the industry when the pandemic started? And we saw some statistics come in, late 2020, early 2021, and there was more donations during the pandemic than we've seen in previous years in business.
Okay.
Pure donations.
See,
Which
yeah.
says a huge amount about people and their willingness to support charities and causes that are close to their heart, or whatever it may be. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So we definitely experienced that last year in our fundraiser as well. And it was a bit of an anomaly, and I was confused by it. And I wasn't sure, what does this mean for our future of fundraising? And that's kind of why we've decided to go that same route again, because with the virtual platform, you can capitalize on reach. And like we're going to market our event like across Canada. Even, like, we have global partners as well. Like, we're hoping that people, like, given the time zones, that people will tune in. And this is like such a great platform and time of our lives to do this. It's like everything is kind of leveled out. Like, you can kind of do anything at this point with fundraisers. So now is the time to try something new. But
exactly, and you're totally right. You can really spread your wings as to who can get involved.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, not at all. No.
I'm just flying through these questions here. In your experience, what works well for nonprofits in their fundraising endeavors? And feel free to be specific. Like, have you seen a lot of people go to, have a lot of your clients decided to switch entirely virtual, hybrid? I know you guys did a webinar and I didn't catch it, and I'm sorry, but maybe you can kind of explain a bit about what you've seen happen and what works well.
For sure. I mean, what works well? I mean, there's three categories here that we can touch upon. One being online, one being virtual, and then one being later in the year when we see the introduction of live events again. And for online, what works well is, you have a little bit of a marketing strategy. That's really important. We often say launch on a Sunday. If you're doing just an online campaign, launch on a Sunday, because we know in our experience and the amount of events that we've done, there's far more engagement on a Sunday afternoon, evening, when we're on our couch, we're watching a documentary or whatever it may be. People are more likely to click on that link and browse your items for the first time, rather than sending it on a Monday or Tuesday when people are at work. And with that, again, on the strategy topic, another thing that works well is don't kind of don't fire all your auction items out in one go.
Oh, okay.
I love it when I see partners kind of send 20 or 30 items out on that Sunday, and then another 20 or 30 items, whatever it may be, on the Wednesday night, because as we know, it takes a few touch points in the marketing world for people to actually click on a link and get involved.
Yep.
And it just adds another area of excitement. However that wording is, put together on the client side.
Right.
It's we got 5 new exciting items type thing.
Right.
It builds the energy and builds the noise from internally. So.
Yeah, we've always taken your advice about launching on Sundays, and it's proven to be quite exciting and engaging. We've noticed that within the first day, we have so much pledged already, and we get so excited. And so, yeah, the Sunday trick works. Yeah.
The Sunday trick works. Yeah.
But we've been like always panicked to send or like get all of our pictures up and everything by that Sunday. But it's kind of good to know and buys me some more time with my staff to slowly release items. Okay. Good tip.
And that's it's a great thing for many people in the charity world and putting on events. They don't always have their items ready and raring to go 10 days before the launch date.
Right. Yeah.
So you're right. It buys people a little bit of time as well.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, it builds excitement. But yes, continue. Go for it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want to do. Like your audience want to see, an exciting event about to happen or an exciting online campaign with exciting items, and they want to feel your, energy as well.
Yeah.
Rather than just a laborious online campaign that's, that happens every year and it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
We want to try and introduce new elements. Virtual events, a different ball game, to be honest. As you well know, what works well for virtual events, quite honestly, keep it as short and sweet as possible.
Yes.
Don't try and overcomplicate it. And one of the biggest things we've said over the past year is don't try and replicate a live event.
Right. That's far too long. You lose people.
Far too long, and you lose people. Those two crucial points are, is the difference between a really successful virtual event and annoying some people.
Right. So what's the sweet spot for timing?
45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you have it. 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Most of it being pre-recorded content.
Right.
We say around 90% of your event should be pre-recorded content. And if you do have a live auctioneer or a live speaker, keep it within that 10%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, and this will kind of segue into my next question, but last year we had an issue with lag time for our live auction. And it got messy, and we had some pretty angry folks who thought they won certain live auction items because of the delay and it was just not good. So we're not doing that again this year. So yeah, like you said, 90% pre-recorded is a great idea.
Yeah. And it again takes the stress away from the organizer. You haven't got that nervousness come the night of that, where everything's going to be live and you're worried about lag time or Wi-Fi and all this type of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So that segues into my next question, which is, what is a common fail that you always tell your clients to avoid?
This is a good question. There's a few things.
Okay.
Now, the fundraising trend globally, the fewer items, the more money you're going to raise. And that's not saying if you have 5 items, you're going to raise more than when you had 100. But typically it's more quality over quantity.
So less items.
Yeah. So typically what we see and have done for many, many years is quality over quantity will raise you more money.
Right.
So I always try and encourage people to just look at their items and think, okay, do you really need that? Is that going to raise you more? Can it be coupled with something? Otherwise, if you have a shopping list of items, I fear that you won't see it, the results will be as strong as if you had kind of fewer items. Yeah.
Jack, I'm kind of remembering the first conversation I had with you when I told you we had 200 items, and you like were a little shocked. Yeah, I actually remember that conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, we have like 200 items normally, but then we cut it back to like 50 to 80 this last year.
Yeah.
It was the best yet. It was our best year.
Exactly. So you made a drastic change there.
Yeah.
It obviously worked out for you. And if we were sitting in the UK right now, you'd be surprised even more. They probably average around 20 to 30 items per event.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So really different strategy going on there and mindset.
Right. Well, that would save me a lot of headache of like procuring items. That's always just such a, I always dread starting that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want you to go to 20 items. I don't think that would be a good shift, but you did well from 200.
Yeah. We'll probably stick around 50 to 80 or something like that. Yeah. Other common fails?
I mean, we've covered one, virtual events being way too long, and even online campaigns wanting to run for a month
Oh,
is too long,
okay.
because the whole point of fundraising tech is competition. As you know, you get outbid, and you get those texts or those emails and whatnot. And if you first go onto your event or somebody else's event, you see that the close date is 6 weeks down the line.
What?
You're not gonna go on, and the likelihood is you might forget about it. So keep it short and sweet. And the same for, as I said, virtual events. We've seen some events that can last a little bit too long. So you lose engagement. And if you lose engagement, you lose participation. And then you lose, you potentially lose revenue there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So they're two big pieces that we talk about weekly.
Okay.
With clients to try and guide them down the right path,
Yes. Yes, I've heeded your advice and I am so thankful I have. Okay, how about this one? What are some old trends of fundraising that don't work anymore? And also opposite, what are some new trends worth noting?
Okay. I mean, old trends, the classic, I would say, pen and paper.
Yes. Okay. If you're doing pen and paper, now is the time. Get
Now
rid
is
of
the
it.
time. Bite the bullet.
Yeah.
I promise you're in good hands. Whatever you do, whatever technology route you go down, you'll see some brilliant results. And yeah, time for change, I think. Some new trends, I guess. One thing that we've noticed and really believe in is the video capabilities within a fundraising platform.
Okay.
Because we noticed a while ago now that a fundraising platform doesn't necessarily have the ability to tell a story. And I'm sure you've experienced it when you watch a video of something, you can get emotional and you can really relate sometimes, or you really buy into what they're saying or whatever. And that's the moment that you give and you participate. And with the world moving online, and for many not having that person to tell a story, it's like the missing piece of the puzzle. So with the introduction of the video capabilities, I think is going to be a bit of a game changer, and really welcomed by the industry. For the ability to pop your video on a platform, and for someone to really just tell their story surrounding that event or the cause or what they're doing. And I think we're going to see an even more engagement than what we used to when we transitioned from pen and paper to technology.
Right.
So I think these are some of the new trends that are going to come out of this year. There's been a lot of talk about hybrid.
Yes.
As a new trend.
Yep.
So what that means, for those that perhaps don't know what that means, is having a live event, but also it being broadcasted as a virtual event for donors not in attendance, or support for reach, or for guests and people that are supporting that organization outside that region or province or country even. And it obviously differ per organization, but we're in the middle of that, trying to figure out if this is going to be a trend that is going to skyrocket. or if, if there's no bite for it whatsoever.
Right.
And the way we see it is it's going to be different, obviously, for different organizations that have a different type of demographic.
Yeah.
And we do support a lot of partners that have a large reach, for which that might work really well.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. We've toyed around a lot with the hybrid versus just virtual. So, I mean, what we've decided to do is like it's just too much manpower that we don't have at the moment. So we're just doing virtual and then picking key donors who don't know we're picking them yet, key donors to host their own parties of however many people they want to have at their home. So then it's tailored. They can make the evening however they want to make it with the 45-minute program that we're going to inject in there somewhere. So
yeah,
it's like not really like considered hybrid because we're not hosting an event, but we are trying to market these watch parties. So but like you said, it's still so new and like, I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see.
yeah. And yeah, and we don't know everything. Let's not get that impression. We don't know everything. And it's certainly going to be an interesting times over the next 4 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in BC here, we're trying to predict what restrictions are going to be lifted and then, how organizations are going to react.
Mm-hmm.
So we're also led by you.
Oh, yeah. And we're relying on you. So I see a problem here. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're running a little bit out of time here. So I wanted to ask you, I mean, Givergy is such a great solution. And I mean, there's anything tech. Let's just be real here. So can you tell us a bit about like the benefits of using a platform for online bidding, and also what are some unique functions that would save us nonprofits a big headache?
Okay, so maybe some takeaways.
Yep, there you go. Some takeaways.
So some takeaways, certainly as we're coming out of this pandemic and we are looking to live events, it's all about strategy. Mm-hmm. It's one thing that I bang on about, all day, every day is let's look at your strategy, because at the end of the day, that's going to be crucial and it might be different to what you've experienced before.
Sure.
But when you're utilizing technology, you have to implement a strategy around that. And yeah, I'm open to speaking about that more at a later date and really dive into that because it's so crucial. Mm-hmm. Some unique functions that I spoke about, the video capabilities that's on its way, which we're very excited about, and I think is going to be a really incredible thing for events and online events especially.
Yep.
About our losing bids feature, which I think is a cool little feature.
Yes.
So that just to highlight is the ability for an organization to contact losing bidders after the event and ask them if they'd like to convert that losing bid into a donation. Mm-hmm.
And don't be scared to do it, right?
And don't be scared to do it. That guest can always reduce that donation to $10. Mm-hmm. But that's one person participating, then they might not have before that notification or something. So
for sure, that's a great one.
Yeah, the Givergy community, which people may not know too much about either, is a Givergy portal, pretty much, which has got every FAQ, how-to guide, every bit of advice possible you can think of, to really help our partners through their Givergy journey and their event journey. And it's so that's a great tool that comes with anything that we do here to support you guys. So that's certainly a good tool. There's a donate an item feature. So I know there's a trend in the industry where, you're reaching out to donors and there's Excel spreadsheets being created. there's a donate an item functionality on the Givergy platform that you can send directly to your donors when asking for auction items. They
I
can
didn't
fill
know
in
that. Okay, yeah.
and it syncs with the Givergy backend.
Oh, cool.
So you miss out the middleman, so to speak.
Totally. Yeah, that's great.
Being that Excel spreadsheet
Yeah.
that we've all grown to love.
Oh, I know. We still have them. Oh yeah, we're Excel. We're going Excel hard here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a few there. That features and functions that are quite unique and
I love the every year we get a million different reports from you guys. One of them being like your top 10 selling items, the top or like the worst selling items, and we've really been able to tailor our items using like the past few years of the top 10 items, which has been very helpful. Surprisingly, deep fryers.
Deep fryers. Is that a thing?
Deep fryers sell so well. It's
deep
hilarious.
Fryers and air fryers, yeah.
us Fraser Valley folk, we like to deep fry everything. Yeah. So, okay.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah,
yeah, right? Okay. Last question. What's one piece of advice you would love us nonprofits to hear?
Oh, that's a great question. I want to say strategy because I cannot say how important it is.
Okay.
And there's a different strategy for an online event versus a virtual event versus a live event.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, having been so lucky enough to be in this industry for 7 years, I would love to talk to people about strategy, try and break down their event. Yeah. And really focus on the importance of that and your demographic and having your live auctioneer buy into the cause rather than just rock up on stage and arrive to the event 10 minutes early.
Right.
So I would say strategy. And when we look at live events, my piece of advice would be to aim for 100% participation.
That's a good one. A good goal.
Because we know at Givergy and at Hungry for Life, everybody in that room can pledge something. Mm-hmm. And I'll finish with this. The best event that I've ever been to was in New York. There was 800 people in a room and they hit that 100% participation goal.
Nice.
And they had every guest had a serviette in their hand. They all stood up. They were all, it's like that famous, the crowd went wild. And it was such a cool atmosphere. It was so brilliant to see. Like there was this sense of unity in the room. Mm-hmm. And I know we're going to go back to it. We know we're going to go back to live events. And to achieve that would be something special, not only for the numbers, but for your donors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great advice. Yeah, we should make that our goal. We can all virtual or at our parties tune in and do those serviette fly. I like it. Well, that concludes all the questions I had for you, Jack. Thanks so much for popping on this call. I know you had a busy day, so we appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having us.
If anyone wants to get a hold of you or Givergy, how would they do that?
Phone or email is fine. Mm-hmm. It's all the information is on the Givergy website, which is givergy.com. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. And so that's how you can get a hold of Jack if you're looking for him. And also wanted to put out to our fundraiser listeners right now. I've started a Facebook group called Fraser Valley Fundraising Forum, just as a place for local nonprofits to come together and help each other and address common issues and come up with some good solutions together. I know we have a lot to offer each other. So head there to start a discussion, and I'll link Givergy's information in there too. And yeah, that was a lot of good quality advice in there. Thanks, Jack. And I'm sure we'll be in touch soon. But
thank you so much.
Yeah,
all right. Thanks. Thank you.
That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to What in the World, where we seek to educate and inspire. Here at Hungry for Life, we are passionate about your group having a global impact and eradicating needless suffering. For more information, head over to our website at hungryforlife.org. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you may listen to podcasts. Tune in every other week for another conversation about what is happening at Hungry for Life.